Hey everybody! In this video, we're going to show you how to install your own fonts onto your iPhone or iPad. There are lots of apps out there that you can download to your iOS device for word processing, spreadsheets, making slideshow presentations, writing, journaling, making invoices, doing graphic design, customizing photos, creating custom effects, and the list goes on and on. The problem is, your font choices are limited to what's already built into the current version of iOS, which, for the most part, are pretty boring. Some apps have a few extra fonts built in, but you can only use those fonts in that app. Everyone has the same choices, but never fear, we're going to show you 4 different ways to overcome this problem that will work for a lot of different apps. You will still have some apps that the fonts won't work in, but for some of the apps we've tested, it will. You can check with the developer of your app to see if they allow you to use your own fonts using one of these 4 methods. And on a side note, you will not be able to change your system font using any one of these methods. Okay, so the first way to install your fonts is by using iTunes file sharing. The way it works is, you open up iTunes, you select your device, you select Apps from your device's settings. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the iTunes page to File Sharing, and you'll see a list of apps that you're able to share files with. We've tested 4 apps that this will work with. The first one is ArtStudio. So what you'll do is you'll click on ArtStudio. You'll see the documents here in the window. We'll open up our folder of fonts. And we're going to come down and pick 2 of these fonts, Chardee and Superstar M54. And we'll drag those over to the window, drop them in, and you can see it added those to the document. Then we're going to come down to Graphic. Click on Graphic, and we'll add the same 2 fonts, Chardee and Superstar, to the graphic documents. Next, we're going to come down to Phonto. We're going to click on Phonto and add the same 2 fonts, Chardee and Superstar, to the Phonto documents. Then lastly, we're going to come down to TouchDraw, and we'll add those same 2 fonts, Chardee and Superstar, to the TouchDraw document window. These are 4 apps that we tested that this method will work with, and just FYI, this method will not work for apps like Pages, Numbers, Microsoft Word, or Excel, just to name a few. So once you've added the fonts to each app, you want to come down and sync that with your iPhone or iPad. And once you're done, you can quit iTunes. And if you want to remove the fonts, you'll have to go back to File Sharing, select each font, press the delete key on your keyboard, and it will ask you to confirm that you want to delete the font. And once you're done deleting the ones you want to delete, just hit the sync button to remove them from your device. Now that we have the fonts installed, let's take a look at each app. The first one we're going to take a look at is ArtStudio. We'll click on the text here, edit the text, come down here to the fonts, and you'll see here at the top of the list that Chardee and Superstar have both been added. The next app we're going to take a look at is TouchDraw. We'll come here, or open a document. We'll choose the type, click the little I button, go to text. We'll scroll down to the S's. And there you'll see Chardee is installed. And we'll scroll on down. You can see Superstar is installed. The next one we're going to look at is Phonto. Click on the text, go to Fonts, we'll go to My Fonts, there's Shardy, and there's Superstar. And lastly, we're going to take a look at Graphic. In order for the fonts to show up in Graphic, you'll have to click the little down arrow, click on Import from iTunes, click on each font to import, you can click the little gear icon, go to Manage Fonts, and see that they're both installed. Open up a file here, click on the text, click the I, text, font, go down to the S's, there's Shardy, and there's Superstar. So you can see it's pretty easy to add new fonts using the iTunes file sharing, but the only problem with that is that you have to hook your device up to your computer, and that may not always be convenient or possible if you're away from your computer. So the next method we're going to look at is using Dropbox. So the first app we're going to show you is Phonto, and in order to use Dropbox with Phonto, you have to go to Dropbox, open Dropbox, click on the font you want to install, then you'll click the icon with the 3 dots, click Export, then you'll click the icon that says Open In, you'll scroll over to Phonto, it'll ask you if you want to install the font, install, and you're done. Now, when you go to your text, go to Fonts, go to My Fonts, and there's the font we just installed. You can also install fonts to Phonto using iCloud Drive. Click on your fonts. We'll choose this Varsity Playbook. Press the up arrow, scroll over to Phonto. It'll ask if you want to install the font, click Install. Then when you go back to your text, font, there's Varsity Playbook that we just installed. So the next app we're going to show you is Graphic. And when you install fonts from Dropbox to Graphic or from iCloud to Graphic, you have to do it from within the app. So we're going to go back to the library. We're going to click this little down arrow, and it'll say import from Dropbox or import from iCloud. So we're going to click import from Dropbox. We'll scroll down, we'll click on this Varsity Playbook, import. Then we'll go back, click on import from iCloud, fonts. Let's choose Obelix. We can click here on the little gear to manage fonts. We can see what fonts we have installed. We can see Obelix and Varsity Playbook have both been installed. So we'll go to our document, click on the text, click the little I button, go to text, font. We'll scroll down to the bottom, there's Varsity Playbook. And go back in, scroll up, and there's the Obelix Pro. So that's how you install fonts using Dropbox or iCloud Drive for Graphic. So the third way you can install fonts to your iOS device is from a font website or from an email. To install from an email, go to your email, click on the font, choose the app you want to install it to. We're going to install it to Phonto. It'll come up and ask if you want to install that font. Click Install. Installed successfully. Now when you go to your document, click on the font, and there it is. So the next way to install a font is from a font website. You'll have to use the browser that's built into your iOS device. Go to the website. We're going to go to DaFont. We'll click on a category. And I think we'll choose this Rio Grande. Click Download. Click on More. And you could save it to Dropbox. Click on your fonts. Save it to Dropbox. You could also come and choose an app like Phonto. And it shows you there's two different versions of the font. We'll install both of them. And now when we go back to our text, click on Font, and there's the two we just installed, Rio Grande Bold and Rio Grande Striped Bold. So those are the ways you can install fonts either from email or from a font website. And once again, this method will not work for apps like Pages, Numbers, Word, or Excel. The fourth way to install fonts is by using a font installation app. Now this is probably the best way to install fonts on your iOS device because this method makes the fonts available for several apps all at once. Instead of having to install fonts into each app individually, you can install them once and make them available in many apps. Again, this will not work for all apps. You'll still have some apps that will not be able to see the new fonts you installed. If you search iTunes, you'll notice that there are several different font installation apps. But the one that seems to work the best for me is AnyFont. The way it works is, you load all of your fonts into AnyFont, then you can install them to your iOS device. When you do this, the app creates a profile for each font that you install and make the fonts available to any app that can see them. You can also install multiple fonts at a time using AnyFont. So we're going to open up AnyFont and start adding fonts to the app. The first way we can do it is through iTunes. Click on your device. Go to Apps. Go down to File Sharing. Click on AnyFont. And we'll come over here and we'll choose a font. We'll choose Northwestern. Add that to the AnyFont documents. Come down here, we'll hit Sync. Once that's done syncing, we can quit iTunes. We'll need to restart AnyFont. Now Northwestern is showing up in AnyFont. The second way we can add fonts to AnyFont is from Dropbox. We'll go back to Dropbox and we'll click on a font. We'll click on Bebas. We'll press the icon with the three dots to export. We'll click on Open In. Scroll over to AnyFont, and it installs all of those fonts for Bebas out of the zip file. But you'll notice it installed two of each one. One font is a TTF and one is a OTF. So what we'll do is we'll select all the ones that are OTFs and we'll delete those. So now we have Bebas and Northwestern that we've added to AnyFont. The next method we can use is email. We'll click on the font in the email. We'll scroll over to Import with AnyFont. And there's Varsity Playbook imported from email. The next method we'll import from a font website. We'll choose New Fonts. We'll come down, we'll choose Advertising Script. Download that. Click on More. Scroll over to Import with AnyFont, and it's added 2 advertising script fonts. Now that we have some fonts installed inside AnyFont, we can install them to the iPad. The first font we're going to install is Nor'Wester. It's a single font, so we tap on it, we can preview the font, click on the icon here, and it'll install it. Install. You have to put in your passcode for your device. Next, install, install, done, open. Now when we go to our settings, to general, down to profiles, you'll see it's installed Nor'Wester font. And it's installed the one font. Now we can go back to AnyFont, and we'll install the 2 advertising script fonts. So we'll click the little check mark. We'll select those 2 fonts. We'll click Install, and it'll ask us what to name the multi-font installation. We'll name it Advertising Script Fonts. Click OK. It'll create a package to install. Click the little icon. Install. Put in your passcode. Next, install, install, and then you're done. So now when we go back to the settings, we can see it's installed advertising script fonts. And when we click on more details, you can see there's 2 fonts in that package. So now that we've installed those fonts into our iPad, let's check out a few apps. So the first app we're going to look at is Pages, because none of the other methods we've tried have worked with Pages. This is the only method that will work with Pages. We'll open Pages, open a document, select the text, click on the paintbrush, click on the font. There we have advertising script that's been installed. Both of the advertising scripts have been installed. And then if we scroll down to the ends, there's Nor'Wester that we installed. So those 3 fonts that we installed onto the iPad all work in Pages. Now let's try Microsoft Word, because nothing worked with it before either. So we'll open Microsoft Word, create a blank document, put in some text, we'll select the text, we'll make the text a little larger, click on the fonts, advertising, there's both the advertising fonts, and let's scroll down to the ends, and there's the Nor'Wester font. So both of those fonts we installed work in Microsoft Word as well. So the next one we're going to take a look at is SketchBook. Click on the text, there's our text. Click on the A button, we'll scroll down, there's Nor'Western, there's the advertising script bold, and the advertising script regular. Now we're going to take a look at ArtStudio. Click on the text, edit, click here, and there's advertising script bold and advertising script normal. We'll scroll down to the ends, and there's Nor'Western. Let's check out Touch Draw. Have our document here, click the little I button, text, and let's go to the top, and there's advertising script, and there's advertising script normal. Let's come down to the ends, and there's Nor'Wester. And the last one is graphic. Choose our text, click the I button, text, font, Come up to the top. Looks like both of our advertising scripts worked. Come down to the ends, and Norwestra worked as well. So that worked pretty well. By installing those fonts using AnyFont, we were able to see the fonts in Microsoft Word, Pages, SketchBook, ArtStudio, TouchDraw, Graphic. So I think that's pretty good. As far as the apps you use, you'll have to try and see if one of these methods will work for you. I do know that we tested Notability and UPad 3, GoodNotes, and NoteShelf, and we couldn't get any of those apps to work with any of these methods. So once you've had a chance to test out your apps, please come back and leave a comment and let us know what worked and what didn't work. You know, once you discover which method works best for you, it's easy to install fonts to your iOS device. If none of these methods work, you might consider contacting the developer to see if it's a feature they can add in the future. And before I forget, we have 5 copies of AnyFont to give away. Let's make this easy. For every 50 likes this video gets, we will give away 1 copy of AnyFont, up to a total of 5 copies. Which means we need to get at least 250 likes in order for us to give away all 5 copies. We will choose winners' names from everyone who leaves a comment below. So, see the video description for more information. Remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below for a chance to win your copy of AnyFont for iOS. So I guess that's about it for how to install fonts on your iOS device. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.